So hello and welcome back to Stephen's Four Wheels, and what is a lovely, almost summery, I hate to use the word summer, but probably it's a bit strong. We'll go a nice spring day today, and I'm actually, first time in the UK, I've been wearing my shorts today. Say first time in the UK, I did go on my cruise recently, I did wear shorts for about 2 days while we were out in Greece, because the weather was so nice. Summer must also be coming, because I did see our postman wearing his shorts the other day, so summer must be on its way. Our postman isn't one of those postmen that wears shorts all year round. He does sort of alternate between trousers and shorts. It's sort of like in the way someone alternates between summer and winter tyres. But anyway, that's not what we're talking about that today. That's going off on a real tangent. We're only 30 seconds into the video. I wanted to talk about Nissan Figaro today. My partner bought this car about sort of a month to 6 weeks ago. I haven't really got too much to update you on. However, we know a little bit more about this car. We've got a bit more of a plan about this car now, so that's what we're going to go over in today's video. So we haven't really used this car that much. You'll have seen that I've given it an absolute huge detail. It took me the best part of 2 days to do it. However, the results are fantastic. If you haven't seen the videos, go back and have a look at them. A lot of work into a very small car, but it really was worth it. Now it looks a lot better than it did before, and I almost feel like I've polished money into this car. I wasn't going to bet you before I was going to say polish a turd. No, I wasn't going to dare say that. No, I've polished money into this car. I reckon probably we could easily flip this car now if we wanted to, not that we want to, and we could actually make a little bit of money on it. Well, that's not the plan. It now looks a lot better anyway. That's the long and short of it. So since we bought the car, there are a few issues that have arose. We'll go with the mechanical stuff first, and for those of you particularly observant might know it's a drip tray on there. That's actually one of my gardening trays that I have. I basically put big trays down, I put my pots in it, and it's basically acts as a bit of a water tray for them. So we've got to get the mechanicals looked at. It is due a big service. That's going to be air filter, oil filter, all that stuff, spark plugs. It also has got a couple of oil leaks, hence why we're going to get it sorted out. So we're going to book it in a local garage, see what they can do, see what they can recommend, and we'll go from there. Mechanically wise, though, actually it seems to be okay. There's nothing flagged up, I don't think, on last MOT, if I can't quite remember fully. I suppose the only other mechanical issue to note, not necessarily an issue, but it was when we bought the car, that this car has got an aftermarket immobiliser on. There's a little red light on the dash, and you basically have to, before you can start it, make that go green. Now there is a little key fob with it. We've worked out how to do it. I'm not going to say how to do it on here because of security reasons. It's actually the reason why we parked this car at the front, because it's actually probably the hardest car to steal, because unless you know exactly what you're doing with that immobiliser, you're very unlikely to actually get this car started. When we were down the auction, they did struggle to get this car started, and I didn't think it was an issue with the car, more just to do with that immobiliser. So we might have got a little bit of a deal there because the car wouldn't have started. Now we know what we're doing, it starts absolutely fine. I've not had an issue with this car other than the battery went completely flat while we were away on our cruise, which isn't really the car's fault. I suppose the only other small I should mention is that sometimes the car doesn't seem to want to start in park. Now you should start this car in park. However, there is a little sensor on the bottom where it detects what gear you're in, and sometimes I think that sensor goes. I did this research about a month or so ago, and I can't quite remember what the sensor was. But anyway, you can manage to get into neutral, and then the car starts at fine, but it won't start in park. So it's a little bit of an interesting issue, but not really at the top of our priority. I think the priority is to get all mechanics and all the service sorted out first of all. So bodywork wise, now that we actually see what we're looking at for the sort of dirt and the filth that was here, the only issue that I can see is just a little bit of bubbling rust just down around the sills here, which is very common on these cars. I do seem to quite like rusting, as do most cars from the 90s, to be honest. There's things like these mirror caps. I think the other side is actually discoloured at the top. This one seems to have a little bit of something on the surface. I sort of feel it, and it feels something a bit rubbery almost, a bit tar-like. So maybe I'll get my plug and tar, plug and tar and all that remover on there, all in one, and see if I can get that board up a little bit. But we might possibly have to invest in new set of mirror caps anyway. So the only other thing I should probably mention on the exterior is that there are a few little knocks here and there on some of the trim. It did have some sort of wind deflectors or rain deflectors, whenever they were fitted here, and those left some little marks, and those I might try and give it a bit of a polish. I gave them a quick polish. I haven't really done anything. I might try and do a little bit more work on them. Just some of the trims a little bit dented, a little bit scratched. I will go around with a bit of chrome polish, see if I can get them brought up over. If you look at this bit here, it's taken quite a knock at some point. So again, we're not going to get this car into a concours example. We're just going to get into something that really runs and drives quite nicely, something you can take to shows and just generally enjoy, which I'll come on to more about that in a little bit. So moving on to the inside of this car now. The inside is a very lovely place to be. It's styled very well, looks a nice place, it feels a nice place to be. This particular one also has the upgraded stereo, which has got a Bluetooth unit in there. It's actually one of the first cars to have a CD player in, which seems really outdated nowadays, but I'm sure back in 1991 when this car was new, that was a very big deal. The only issue really that we have with the interior is the front seats. Both of them are showing signs of wear. I've been over with them trying to give them a big deep clean. I just can't get some of the marks, some of the stains out. There's also where bits of the leather's torn, so we're debating at the moment whether to get a second-hand set, whether there's someone that can maybe retrim the seats for us, whether we can get some sort of new seat covers maybe for them. We haven't really investigated too much because again, it's not really high on our list of priorities, but it's something that we would like to get done. I think again, first thing on this car is going to be trying to get all the mechanics sorted, maybe getting the little bit of rust done, because as you know with SLK, my experience with that one is that you should always get the rust dealt with fairly quickly before it gets too worse. So I think that's something we'll do. You will notice that I took my Alfa Brera to a local body shop recently. Definitely recommend them, and I think we'll probably be taking the Figaro down there as well. So what are our big plans with this car? Where do we want to take it? What do we want to do? Well, it's only really going to be a local car. It's not really a car that I'd want to take long distance, to be honest, or my partner. The drive we did back from the auction, about 45 minutes, that's probably far enough for this car. It is only a little 1 litre engine. Even if it's got a turbo strapped on, it's probably not a massive turbo, to be honest. So it's only going to be a local car. It hasn't got things like cruise control. I'm not too sure what how many speeds the auto box is. I can imagine it's only 4, possibly 5. I'll have to Google that and have a look in a little bit. So it's only going to be a local car, going around for local shows and some local drives. We have already been going and looking at what show we might probably take this car and maybe another one too. So I might take 2 cars to a local show. That'd be really good. We've also joined, my partner's also joined the Nissan Figaro Owners Club, which looks to be a really good community actually. Everyone seems very friendly on there. So we're really quite looking forward to getting involved with some of their events, and they've got a few local events, because again, they are nationwide. I think actually they do other events in Europe as well, so I'm not going to go and do any of those. So I think we'll just stick to a few of the local. There is I think there is a West Midlands and East Midlands sort of chapter, as they call it. So that'll be a little region that we'll probably try and get involved in a few of their events. Still quite early for the events, really. It is only end of March, so they are still announcing events, and they've announced a few local events that we're definitely sort of looking at. They sort of fit in with our calendar, and we can sort of fit them in what else we're doing. So thankfully at the moment, not too many date clashes on my calendar. There's only about 3 or 4 at the moment, which is quite good going, but people are still announcing dates, so we'll see. But yes, this figure definitely going out to some local shows and local events. We're now also become joint members of the Midland Automobile Club, which is basically Chelsea Walsh. Some people have a local pub, we have a local hill climb, as I always say. Really good place to go. I've already mentioned this in one of my videos I did about all the events this year that we're going to go into. We're looking forward to taking this car out. We're now joint members up there, so we're going to go take them to a few of the shows and events up there. That's a little bit of an update on the Figaro. I haven't really done much yet to it because we haven't had the chance to. We are going to get this car out there, and there are going to be updates, and there will be a little bit more of this car coming onto the channel. It's also really good to see my partner actually getting interested in cars. She's always been interested in cars and always wanted to come to car shows with me. There's certain car shows she'll come with me, some cars she won't do. But it's really good that we did come out a couple of weekends ago. We walked around the car, we lifted up the bonnet, had a look on the engine. I was showing her little bits and what needs doing. I was showing her where the sort of leads go to the spark plugs, showing her where the turbo is and all that sort of stuff. Starting to get a little bit of interest. And it's amazing because later on that evening we were sat watching TV and she was there on her phone looking at parts of this car, looking at there's a place called the Figaro shop that do all parts of this car, and she's just sat there looking at it, and then she found some seats on eBay she was interested in buying. So it's really interesting to see actually getting involved and getting a bit more interested. And I'll still be the one organising a lot of the service and like MOT on this car as I do with her C-Class, the daily driver C-Class. But it's really interesting to see her getting involved. I'm quite pleased that she's actually bought it and she actually wants to get a little bit more of an interest in this car. So that's really positive. Hopefully she'll keep that up. And I say we're going to go out to a few shows together. We'll take this car and then I'll go in my SLK perhaps. I think those will be quite a nice pair together, to be honest. So we'll see what happens on that front. So I've done more than enough rambling for today. Somehow I've got to talk about winter tyres when I don't need to. But anyway, we won't go into that too much. Hopefully you've enjoyed a little bit of update on the Figaro. Definitely more on this car coming up on the channel soon. So this could be goodbye from me, goodbye from the Figaro, and we will see you next time. Goodbye.